Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome to KitchenTableTCG. Today we're going to do a Kassai Centauri Sellsword deck tech. I can't wait. It's been really fun. Today, actually, we played a bunch of games in our Discord server as kind of a preamble. Look at this. Look how many people we had up. It was so cool to see everybody playing and hanging out. It was just cool. We had tables going. Look at that. We were all chatting. We were playing games. We had a little tournament. We had people won. They won some packs. We'll give away in the next box opening video. But it was just a ton of fun. And so I got to play this new Kassai deck, and I had never really looked at Kassai as like an interesting deck. And then I got this cold foil, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh. So super shout out to Critical Games and Hobbies for hooking me up with that in our last giveaway video. So pretty excited about that. Let's go ahead and tell you what my goal is for this deck, and then we'll get into Kassai's ability. This is supposed to be like a simple, basic, he's not real good at the game yet, aggressive, fast playing deck. That the goal is that in my Discord server, I don't want to have to be playing super long games. I want to be able to, help organize stuff, and so I can play and I can either win or lose really quick and be able to have some fun and play the game. So our ultimate goal here is going to be to generate 3 resource points, to attack with Centauri Saber twice and to boost them, and then to generate copper tokens to cash in, and we'll talk about that, and to draw 2 more cards on the cash in, and then to go off on a turn. So that's our goal. It's super quick, super easy. It's either going to win fast or lose fast. This is not like a professional deck. This is not like going to win any top 8s at any big events. This is just for fun. I got 4th place tonight, so I was pretty happy about that. But first off, let's talk about Kassai. So here's what Kassai does. Your second sword attack each turn costs 1 less. And then at the beginning of your end phase, if you've attacked with 2 or more times with weapons this turn, create a copper token for each weapon attack that hit. Okay, so our weapon then is going to be Centauri Saber. Okay, so our first attack will, it costs 1, and then if it's defended by attack action cards, it gets +1 until the end of turn. So maybe it's 3, right? But what that does is that then makes our second attack that we use, we have to give this go again. That's going to be our first goal every turn, is to give this go again. And so then our next one, because of Kassai's ability, right, our second sword attack each turn costs 1 less, so it's free. The Centauri Saber will be free. So let's get into the equipment, and then we'll get into what a typical turn will look like. And again, I'm going to tell you this, like the goal of this is that every turn feels the same, and that you always know kind of what your goal is, and then consistency was really important when I was building this deck. So let's get into our equipment. I think the first, I think the only decision you have to make is, do you want to run Courage of Bladehold or the Spring Tunic? So Courage of Bladehold, I would say, in this deck is aggro. It's supposed to be aggro, but there will be times when you want to play a little bit more tempo. But if you're playing aggro, if you're playing against a deck that you want to out aggro, you definitely want to run the Courage of Bladehold, because it's going to make all of your sword attacks free to play. And basically, that's what it does. You destroy it, and it makes your sword attacks cost 1 less, which your sword attacks, your Centauri Sabers, only cost 1 to attack. So it's going to give you ultimate use of your resource points, ultimate use of the cards in your hand. The turn that you go off on, that one, really, you're only saving yourself one resource point, but that turn that you go off on, that could be really important. But if it's not that important, your Tunic is basically every 3 turns does exactly what Courage does, because Courage makes all your weapons, cost 1 less, or they're free. But Kassai already makes all your second weapon free. So really, every 3 turns, you get a free resource point that you can utilize for the first Centauri Saber. So every 3 turns, you basically get the Courage of Bladehold. So it's kind of interesting. If you're going to be playing more tempo, your Spring Tunic is probably your better bet. But I'm probably going to be running the Courage of Bladehold most of the time, because it also, I should have said, it also blocks for 2 rather than the Tunic can only block for 1. So, that's a big difference. The other stuff, the refraction bolters are great because, when your weapon you control hits, you may destroy refraction bolters, or you gives it go again. So essentially, if you don't have a way of getting the Saber go again, which is really your ultimate goal, your refraction bolters are a great backup plan for that turn where you don't have them. And then the Hope Merchant's Hood, I mean, you could be running something that gives you defense points, but honestly, defense is just, it's not that important in this deck, or at least the way I built it, it's not. So what might be more important is to destroy Hope Merchant's Hood and to refill your hand with different cards. You discard cards and you draw the equal amount. So if you just don't have the right pitches, you don't have the cards, I think Hope Merchant's Hood is a strong play to give yourself some more options. And then your Brave Forge Bracers, and I actually forgot to put this card in the deck. I don't think it's that essential, but you pay 1 and your next weapon attack gains +1. So it's good. I mean, it's definitely good if you have extra resource points, which you very well might, but I don't think that it's essential, and I don't want people to think that you have to buy a $100 card for this deck, because you don't. It's good, but it's not essential. And actually in my gameplay videos, I even forgot to put it in, and I didn't wear it. I actually forgot I owned the card because I just traded for it, and anyway. All right, so let's get into the goal, right? So we want to generate, we're going to be generating copper, and kind of our big turn, our big payoff turn will be the turn that we are able to cash in on those coppers. So you can destroy 4 coppers, and then you get to draw 2 cards, and that's the turn that you're really going to go off. You're really going to have big 8-9 damage swings with the sabers, because you're going to have those extra cards in your hand. So that's kind of like the goal, right? Like the turn to get to. But if you don't hit cash in, you can still win, because it is pretty consistent otherwise. So then I keep mentioning that 3 resource points are really important. And that's because you need 1 resource point to attack with Centauri Saber, and then typically you're going to need at least 2 resource points in order to give the Saber go again, which is super important because you want to be attacking with both sabers. So I put some security blankets in here. The Time Snap Potion, it pitches for 3, right? So it's super good because you need those 3 resource points. But then also you can, if you just play it, you can destroy Time Snap Potion to gain 2 action points, and then you get the, you can use those as go again, essentially. So this is like almost a no-brainer in the deck. I really think it needs to be in there. But the energy potions, you might be able to take the energy potions out. The resource points, there's enough cards in here that pitch for 3 that you don't need them. In fact, I'll probably end up taking out at least 1 energy potion. I currently only have 1 Enlightened Strike in here, and I think I want to run 2 Enlightened Strikes. The problem with Command and Conquer and Enlightened Strike is that they only pitch for 1. They're great cards. They only pitch for 1 though, and I don't know. I'm probably going to take out 1 energy potion and put in Enlightened Strike, but that is what it is. Okay, so your first turn, actually every turn, your kind of goal is to pitch 3 to give Centauri Saber go again, attack with Centauri Saber, and attack with a second Centauri Saber. So the first thing we always need to do is to be able to give Centauri Saber go again. And so that's what all these cards do. This is a consistent deck. Again, it's not the best deck, but it's going to be a very, very, very consistent deck, okay? So the best card, the best first turn, the best start to this setup is Spoils of War. So again, you're going to pitch 3, you're going to use Spoils of War for 1, then you're going to use Centauri Saber for 1, you still have 1 left that you'll be able to do some reactions with, and your Spoils of War is going to give your Centauri Saber +2 and go again. And now here's the kicker for Spoils of War. This is why Spoils of War is so good. So whenever a weapon control hits this turn, you create 2 copper tokens. So your first Centauri Saber, if it hits, you're going to get 2 copper tokens. Then your second Centauri Saber, if it hits, you're going to get 2 copper tokens. And then at the end of your turn, because you hit with 2 Centauri Sabers, you're going to get 2 more copper tokens, which will put you at 6. And so then as soon as you get a cash in, you'll be able to cash it in and draw 2 more cards. So Spoils of War is really like probably one of the best cards in the deck. It probably is the best card in the deck. You definitely don't need 2 foil ones. You can use a regular one, but the foil one definitely does more damage. It's just guaranteed. So then Glint the Quicksilver. This card is also super good for the deck because it gives target weapon attack go again, but you don't have to play it first, and it's also free. So you can wait to see what happens, and then the attack reaction step, and maybe your opponent doesn't think that you're going to be able to attack with a Centauri Saber the second time because you don't have go again, and then you're able to use Glint the Quicksilver to give it go again. And then again, if the defending hero defended with a card from their hand, you also get to draw a card. So this card replaces itself on a hit, gives it go again. I mean, it's fantastic. It's really good. And then it also pitches for 3. So like, again, we have that resources in order to do it. We have that consistency. So we got 2 Glint the Quicksilvers. And now we get into the Warrior's Valor. And this is where the deck gets really overkill. You're going to see we're running all 6 Warrior Valor and all 6 Driving Blades. Because it is so important that we give every turn that we're able to almost or try to give our first Centauri Saber go again. So every one of these cards, Warrior's Valor, if the weapon hits, then it gets go again. And then Driving Blade, it just gives it go again. So really, Driving Blade is the better version of Warrior's Valor. And I love that. Like, it's a common, right? Like, it's amazing. So Driving Blade or Warrior's Valor is what we want to play first. And then, so Warrior's Valor costs 1, Driving Blade costs 2. So that's where that 3 comes in again, right? So we need to pitch for 3. We're going to play, ideally, you're playing a 2-cost Driving Blade. And then using the last resource point to attack with the Centauri Saber. And then your second attack, because of Kassai, is free, and you attack with your second Centauri Saber. So that's the ultimate goal. But you can also play the Warrior's Valor, which costs only 1, and then you have to use an attack reaction or something to make sure that the attack gets through. So all in all, that's kind of where these are. These are kind of your give your card, go again. So all these cards are, so what's that, 12? There's 16 cards. 16 out of the 40 cards give your attack go again, because that is that important in the deck. So then once you are attacking, you also have some reaction cards just to kind of boost. Again, this is an aggro deck, right? So we want to be able to do as much damage in as little amount of time as we can. So I put in some Dauntlesses, which gives your next. I put the red Dauntless in because it deals more damage. Next weapon attack gets +3. And it's harder for them to play defense reaction cards. It costs an additional 1 for them to play. So all in all, just great to get some of that damage in. Sorry, this is warrior action. This is not a reaction, is what I said. But so this is, sorry, I messed this up. Yeah, my bad. We're getting to the attack reactions. They're coming. But your second weapon attack, these are what these are for. So then you can play this for your second weapon attack. And that's what really helps these if you have the extra resource points. Iron Song Determination is the same way. So this is kind of like just bonuses for your second weapon attack. You could, if you want to, probably replace some of these. We'll talk about defense in a second, but if you wanted to play this more of a slower deck, I don't think it's going to be super great though. You could use some more defenses, or maybe you could fill the slots in with Enlightened Strike and Command and Conquer with some of these as well. So then let's get back to the attack reactions. So that's where, if you have extra resource points, then we're going to use some of these attack reactions. So Reprise is pretty good because they're gonna want to block, especially knowing what Kassai's ability is. They're going to want to block. Now some decks just won't at all. But if they do block, then the target weapon gets +3. So, and the cool thing is, if you are able to play one of these, then the rest of the time they're going to kind of think that you have one of these, and so then they might not block because they don't want you to play the Iron Song response, which is kind of a cool effect. But those are your attack reactions, and then obviously Razor Reflex is just the best attack reaction. I think it gives all your swords +3. And then you can also use it for with Enlightened Strike, which is kind of nice here. Target attack action card will cost 1 or less, so it does pop in with the Enlightened Strike, and then it gives it go again too. So that's a really, really good card, obviously. And then Biting Blade. Biting Blade is pretty good too because it just gives it that kind of one. But I put the blue Biting Blade in here because I want that consistency of the pitch cost, and really the red one deals more damage, which is great. The yellow one deals more damage, which is great. But really, 1 damage sometimes is enough just to get the consistency, just to get the copper tokens, just to get the whatever. And I want the consistency of that pitch cost. So, and then again, if they it has Reprise, so if they do from a card with their hand, then the weapons you control get +1 until the end of turn. So that's both weapons, which is pretty cool, which that plays to. And then we have 4 Stroke to Foresight. Target weapon gets +3 or +1. I didn't put the yellow ones in. And this also has Reprise because again, I really believe that people are going to want to block to prevent you from getting copper, and they're going to be aggro. I mean, it's going to kind of just go, and you're going to get them low life pretty quick, so they're going to have to block. So and that kind of you get to kind of funnel a card from your hand to to your deck. You draw a card and you can put one. I think it goes on the bottom, on the top or the bottom. So kind of gives you some more options to see what you want to do with that reprise. Okay, so those were all the reactions and all the buffs for the second. Remember, these are the buffs for the second Centauri Saber attack. Now, you will find yourself sometimes having to play defense. And so you could put more of these in. Like I said, there are some cards that you could pop out of there, to put more of these in. But I think that in aggro, you want your defense to continue to be offense. So I put Steel Blade Shunts in. You could probably put 2 more Steel Blade Shunts in. You could probably replace some of those other cards if you wanted. You could probably put the red version in. Again, I put the blue version in because I want the consistency. You will never, if you build this deck, you will never not be able to do what the deck intended to do, which is the goal here. And so this one, it does damage on the defense. So you're blocking 4 for one resource point. You're going to block 4 and you're going to deal 1 damage. So this could be this could be the tipping point right here. Games are always so close, and a card like this can really win you the game because you could be 1-1 and you could block and deal the 1 damage. I don't actually know exactly what happens in that situation. I guess the defense, I don't know. Somebody can tell me in the comment section. But it could be the difference maker in a game to get that 1 extra damage in if you need it. And also just keep the game close. So then the last thing I've already shown you, but you've got these kind of turn winners, right? Like in Command and Conquer, you can get rid of something if you know it's in the arsenal. And it's just such a good card, right? It costs 2, it's kind of expensive, but you also, if somebody's playing a lot of defense reaction cards, this is good. And then Enlightened Strike, it's just almost great in every deck. And it's, it's free to play. It works really good with Razor Reflex. And again, though, the problem is that it makes it less consistent. But I believe because of the amount of consistency I built into the deck, you can get away with running some of these that don't give you the pitch value. All in all, I hope that you enjoy this deck. Again, I think it's just super simple, which is kind of my goal. I just want to be able to play a really simple deck, really learn how to play Flesh and Blood. And I think Kassai's ability is so cool. And the copper tokens seem like they have so much potential to me in the long run to be like a really, really cool thing if they add more stuff for the copper. So let me know what you think. I'll post some deck play, some gameplay here in a couple days. And hopefully we'll see you in the Discord server. If you're a patron, you get access to that Discord server and we'll be able to play some games together. And you can beat me. It'll be a good time. Hope you have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you.